Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account, and unfortunately with this stream, we're going to have to cut it a little bit short. We do have some restoration folks in the basement. That way you know it flooded, but thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to try to do a live stream tonight, but I just wanted to go over a few things. We got about 10-15 minutes here. So overall, a lot of players have been asking exactly where we are with the Abyssal Expedition. Now we know it is quiet time at this point, so I just kind of wanted to show you, go over a couple things overall with the Abyssal Expedition. So as you can see, it is quiet time, and we did hit print, so we are completely done. Got all of the rewards, like we kind of set out to do. Running with Adventure Run, we did incredibly well. What is going on? Dark Lucifer, Dark Blaine, Donovan is here. Thank you guys for joining me again for the Sunday stream. Right now, we are on the final life, guys. We are 5.5%. That is right. He is almost dead in his entirety, but I don't know at this point if everyone has exhausted all of their stamina, meaning that we're not going to actually be able to kill him. But overall, looking at our leaderboards, we are at number 14. So we did incredibly well when it came to the Abyssal Expedition. And I want to give a big shout out to Kilby Ross. Right up here, guys, they were number one again. I know they have been in previous Abyssal Expeditions, but really cool to see that they are continuing to absolutely crush it. And when you look at some of these heroes, I mean, you're talking, what, 2.5 trillion damage? And I believe 2.5 trillion damage, which is kind of crazy, but very happy that we did come in where we did. And of course, some of the heroes that really stood out in the Abyssal Expedition, if you look at some of the guide that Zero put out, overall, there were a few heroes that did exceptionally well. Number one, of course, being the awakened version of Belinda, super strong within here. We've seen a good showing from Rem. We've seen a really strong showing from Amelia. Some of the ones that were kind of a little bit off kind of kilter that we really didn't think were going to be in formations. One was Trishia. Trishia still did exceptionally well within formations. And then we have seen this previous times with a lot of different players is Baden. Baden, the original version of Baden, actually does incredibly well. He was one of the best in slot teams that we had going into the Abyssal Expedition, and still being such an old school hero, the way that he works through his abilities was very interesting to see that he did incredibly well in here. What's going on, Black Waffle? Thank you for joining us. Finally able to catch a stream. What's going on, Zoomer from Italy? Doing okay. Most of you know, if you guys checked out the video, our basement flooded on Friday. It is now Sunday. Got some remediation, folks. That's why we're going to have to cut this a little bit short. But overall, not sure exactly what the fate of our entirely finished basement is, what the insurance company is going to say, and where exactly that's going to go. As far as cost-wise, it can go astronomical if you start opening walls, ripping up walls, looking for foundation issues, things of that. So, I don't know. It's going to be kind of crazy. The new Awakened Celestial Hero is good, but I'm thinking to save my time cards. Overall, Peter, I probably would. Now we know the new Celestial Hero is coming out, which is kind of crazy because we just got Eugene, we just got Gavis. We've gotten a lot of very strong heroes, and now we're coming out with another Celestial Hero. Overall, we're going to have to see exactly the utility with her, if she's going to be a requirement to build. Now, also with that, you have to think, guys, the signature items are coming on Tuesday. We know tomorrow is going to be Monday. Monday is always patch day, but Tuesday is going to have us the ability to get the epic emblem. So not only will you have your red chest that we normally see right here, but you will also have the whitish kind of the ascended chest, which is going to allow us to take heroes past that plus 30 signature item. And it is probably one of the absolute biggest updates that we've probably seen. And I know I've said it a couple times, but when you think of AFK Arena, I want to do a couple summons in here, but when you think of AFK Arena in its entirety, there's, a couple pivotal moments within AFK Arena when we really see game changing, and it looks like Legend has been offline for 4 days. 3 days is the requirement. So anyone who is looking for a friend on there, you can go ahead and join. But overall, when you look at AFK Arena, there's been a couple different points where it is really just the world of the game changing. And I know a lot of people kind of coined it on, I do say it often, what is going on, Moneymaker? But overall, when it comes to AFK Arena, there's a couple different places where we really seen the game fundamentally change. If you're an old school player, there was a point where we didn't have signature items, which was kind of crazy. And we only had Dura's artifacts in here, didn't have collections, didn't have any of the class specific artifacts, didn't have any of those. And of course, guys, signature items were huge. That was a big part. Then when you think of the engraving that came out, a massive part. When we released the furniture, absolutely was a game changer, followed by the beasts, and now followed by the collections, and now followed by the plus 40 signature items. It's been kind of a couple, and guys, you have to think over the time of 5 years, that has been kind of where we are going with AFK Arena. It's a game of progression. It's a game that there is always constant advancement and constant improvements. Power creep, it's always going to happen. It just depends really at what speed. Will you review more of the Celestial Heroes and test her more in the future? Yeah, I can. And again, I apologize because this weekend with everything with the basement, it's been kind of crazy. With my normal schedules, just been entirely disrupted. Didn't get to do anything Friday. Didn't really do anything Saturday with everything going on. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Well, being free to play just means everything comes out over time. Yeah, and that's it. So, I really stress this, guys. When it comes to free to play accounts are going to take a lot longer, period. That's it. So essentially, there's two ways to really view it in AFK Arena. Either free to play is going to be the slow, steady progression, or you're going to supplement that progression and make faster progression by buying things in AFK Arena. That's it. Those are your only two, the methodology behind gaming, and not only AFK Arena, but any mobile gaming. It definitely makes a big difference. If you're putting money into it, you're going to progress faster, period. That's been proven. As long as you're putting in the game time, putting in, equal effort, you are going to make more progression if you're buying. So if you are free to play, absolutely. It just has to set the expectation. For instance, and I'll just use this one kind of ever as a reference point, where I might score here. I'm in the top 12, top 7. I can probably do a little bit more before this ends. But overall, when you think of a free-to-play account, probably the top 10, 20, depending on how long you've been playing, or a little bit higher is where essentially you're going to land. You're not going to be number one as a free-to-play player. Looking at AFK Arena, and again, mobile gaming, that is kind of how it is built. That there is. If all pets are level 12, which pet would you push to 18? 18, I would do the ones that I am right here. Black Waffle. Talismane is really big when it comes to 18. Slumbering Seal, absolutely. The Owl is another one that is very strong. We've also seen, I mean, those three would be ideal, but if you look at the Moth, does pretty well. Down here, so does the Panda. The Panda actually does pretty well. There's a couple that do well, but I would start by pushing those three. Those are really the primary three, Black Waffle, when you're building them. They're pretty much the primary three that you do want to build out first, because they have a lot of effectiveness in a ton of different places. And even if you cross-reference it, with Ciro's guide, overall, you're going to have the ability to go in there. And I think that was Lith. I think that was Lith. I don't know if they're in a stream, but we've been going back and forth literally forever with this player, and I know I don't know exactly who he is, but levels, he's been crushing levels, as you can see, really well built. So big shout out, and again, I've seen that name right there. I'm not sure if we added him. I'm gonna have to save a slot, because again, on my server, we've been kind of going back and forth with the PvP aspect forever, which I think it added Chlorind. So they might be in chat. They might actually be in here. Yeah, we can push the campaign. I'm going to have to finish out 56, get into 57. Now, also remember, when you look at the progression, they are going to be giving us some of those epic choice emblem chests as you're making progression. So you do want to. Who do you think has the best 40 SI Yoshi? Overall, it seems like a majority of players, even looking at the whales. So you have to think, and this is where I think it's going to take a lot of kind of analytics, because if you look at the Awakened version of Athelia, right here, the plus 30 signature item just contains crit. That is really something to remember, is this only contains crit. Once you start getting up to the 40, not only are the attributes going much higher, but they're also gaining additional attributes on the test server, or essentially when they're released. So not only does she have crit, but I believe she has crit damage amplification, and she has something else. So you're not only adding the HP, attack, and defense at a much higher rate, you are also adding a new ability. You are also adding additional stats that are going to be stacked on here. So additional attributes that are going to be stacked. So when you look at the tier list, and this is kind of why I wanted to do the comparison. Yeah, I'll check it out in a minute, Peter. Why I kind of want to do the comparison is looking right now at the test server and where the whales are building. So a lot of people that spend a ton of money in AFK Arena, what exactly are they building? And even looking here, when you look at the primary SSS heroes from our tier list, they are the ones that are already at 40. So again, kind of running through the Awakened version of Belinda, I have seen at 40. I've even seen Palmer up at 40, but they had a Brutus at 40. We've seen Solus at 40. We've seen, I think it was Chimera, or it might have been Baden, that was built up a little bit higher. The Awakened version of Athalia was at 40. Liberto was at 40. Demio was at 40. And I know it's going to take a long time to build them. But again, just thinking down that SSS class tier list, all of the heroes that kind of made it into the best in slot comps are still the best in slot comps, even Rem going to a 40. And again, it's not just getting the new, getting the new ability. A lot of it is based on the attack heroes having more attack. Now we've kind of talked about this before. When it comes to heroes and you're building them out further, so even looking, like here at the Oak Inn, building heroes past the 9 of 9, which we do with quite a few heroes in our wish list, it is damage dealers. Damage dealers are the one that are, that have the most benefit when it comes to building them out percentage-wise. So when you start adding more furniture to them, when you start adding a higher signature item, when you start adding more engraving, you're adding percentages on the top damage dealers within AFK Arena, which essentially will make them that much stronger in formations. Let me check out. I know I said I would read Peter's. Papa Stratos, thank you for joining us. Jaffa as well. Let me see. What was your question there? For the next hero, not sure. New Awakened Celestial Hero is good because I'm thinking I would save your cards. Absolutely, Peter, if that was the question. Waiting on a New Awakened hero. Yeah, nobody right now, as I know of, that we're not seeing another Awakened hero. Now, of course, the last ones were double release, which means that buys us a little bit time before that next Awakened hero. But let's hop on here. I'll do some summons. And again, we're going to cut this one a little bit short. 30,000 diamonds right there. I like it. This one, I'm going to save my diamonds as well, because again, we're going to have to see the impact of the new hero. And then we're getting our time emblems every single day out of there. And we also have a couple stones. That way we can go ahead and use these. Let me pop open the chats or the chest right here. And let's go ahead and use these. So we have 2 stones. Boom, just recycle garbage right there. This needs to be an Awaken, which it is not. So that is recycled right there. And then, of course, just 24 rare stones, which, of course, is just kind of recycled there. Just stopped playing 2 years ago. Do you think it's worth starting a new account as free to play? Honestly, probably. How far are you, Dragon? That's a big question. Is how far in progression-wise are you already, Dragon? Because honestly, if you start a new account, it's going to be easy. So if you don't have a big investment, but 2 years ago, I would probably just start a new account, because I'm not sure if they're going to backdate all of the rewards from kind of when you had it. Yeah, but overall, that's the big thing. SI40 seems like just mostly trash abilities. That's the thing, Dark Lucifer. Like I was kind of saying, is when you start getting into the abilities, some of the abilities are really strong. Some of the abilities not coming in too well. But when you look at the stats, that you're actually having within, a bunch of different heroes, that can be an absolute game changer. If you're adding, again, just a couple more % to heroes here and there, they're going to do exponentially more damage. And as a whale, as a pay-to-win player, as, someone who's really building a lot of heroes in AFK Arena, it's going to require it to be competitive. So the bridge between, the top 1% players that put a ton of money into it and the free-to-play accounts, the disparity is there, and it's been there for years, because you have the ability to build a lot more heroes and you have the ability to build them much, much faster. So for a whale, when a new hero comes out, they max it out in its entirety. It's done at that point, and everybody else is just kind of playing catch up. So in here, we finally got our last copy of the twins. That is right. Boom, 5-star twins. It's only been kind of crazy. Yeah, you got the wrong Baden. Absolutely, Yoshi. I wish I got the other Baden, but unfortunately, we did get the bad Baden. But most of the core old school heroes are getting to 5 stars. When you look at Alna, when you look at Athalia, when you look at heroes that we can get from the shop, my store is looking pretty empty right now, just because Labyrinth-wise, we have all of the heroes out of here. Challenger store, a couple more copies of Mortis, and we will be done with this as well. But that will also give me the ability to stack a lot of these chests taking heroes a little bit further with these. And if I need shards, I can buy them out of here. Shards relatively inexpensive, but I would definitely pull the red chest after I get a couple more copies of Mortis, because that will be done. And again, that's going to be pretty short-lived before we actually get there. I'm building Gavis and Eugene to make those teams a bit stronger as a free-to-play player. Is Gavis worth it or save all the time? Honestly, I would save them. The thing with Gavis is we're seeing him used a couple different places, but overall he's used as a damage mitigation. A lot of places he's not doing a ton of damage. He's not like, hey, you know, it's not the Awakened version of Belinda where it's the best in slot and they're getting all of the damage from pretty much one hero. Yeah, again, I don't feel like he doesn't have the impact of a Liberto or a Thalia or, you know, Demia. Gavis doesn't have the impact. And honestly, if you're looking and being competitive, Treasure Scramble is probably one of the very big places that you're going to find him on a regular basis. Season, of course, already over. We came in 66. So min-maxing some of their Blossom, and Jigo is doing incredibly well. I love looking at Jigo. But yeah, when you look to compete, even as an account that puts, you know, $100+ into AFK Arena, looking at every single hero that has at least a plus 80 SI, 9 of 9, if not 36, which most of these are 36 furniture. So actually going much higher with these, you can't compete. You really can't compete. Which is kind of crazy, but it's very, very true. What's going on, Zothamus? Do you have a hero artifact collection guide that you could help to build out new artifacts for them? The collection guide is kind of a general, it's kind of really general. I can share it, Blue. I would have to get it over from the Google Docs, but overall it is kind of general, and there's different artifacts, or there's different collections for different heroes in different game modes. So essentially what you'd have to do, Blue, and what I did really to focus on building out those artifact or those collections is going through the hellscape, is figure out what heroes you need. When we look here, even looking at Strong Air, so looking at the collections, going through and seeing what heroes you have collections on, what heroes you need collections on, and you're just going to week after week after week build a multitude of collections that are going to go across kind of everything. And that's really it. There's going to be a point where it's going to take a lot of time and effort to make any progression, but you're going to slowly be just replacing older collections with newer, probably a lot more well-built collections. As you continue to use your emblems out of there, it's going to make a really, really big difference. Now we know the bounty board, they updated some of this as well, which probably was about 3 years that they've needed to do that kind of in the making. Yeah, when is the Awakened Walker coming out? I don't know if we'll ever see that Awakened version of Walker, guys. Let's do a couple furniture summons. What is your next big goal in the game? Honestly, Apollonier, building out, I like the Treasure Scramble, the PvP aspect. I think it's really campaign. As much as I dislike the campaign, but knowing they're going to give us some chests for the rewards, I don't mind pushing a lot of the campaign. The problem with the campaign, and really the big thing, I know a lot of players say the exact same thing, is there's not much of anything that's really, they don't have the benefit. They don't give us enough for campaign progression. So a lot of people just choose not to do campaign progression, is kind of what we're seeing from a bunch of different avenues, is it's not beneficial. Well, if they continue putting more rewards in there, which I think we just got double Gavis, but as they continue to put more rewards in the campaign, it makes it more beneficial. Them adding additional parts to the Misty Valley, so adding a little bit more campaign progression in the Misty Valley does the exact same thing. It is going to allow you to make a little bit more progression with reason. So here's attack rating. I want to see what Gavis actually gets. Crit damage amplification, and then the final one. So we have crit, we have attack, magic pierce. I'm going to have to wait on Gavis. Yeah, we have 2 extra pieces of furniture that we just got for Gavis. I'm going to have to see exactly which one is the best to build, because they're even at the strengthening furniture. So if you're going above and beyond that 9 of 9, there is very, very specific furniture that you need to look for with heroes. If you're taking them, again, above that 9 of 9, there's a very specific way to actually build those out. So I definitely want to cross-reference some of our guides, some of the utility. The next Awakened hero is Lucius. I don't know. That would be kind of cool, Vera. So a lot of players, again, kind of speculating across the board what it's going to look like and who it's going to be. Are they going to do just a brand new hero? Are we going to see another hero kind of built out of here? I think even like Awaken Rowan, Awaken Estrella would be pretty cool. Rowan, of course, I absolutely love, but I don't know if they would go like with a Morrow or if they would do your favorite for everybody, the fan favorite Walker. I don't know. The best thing about Eugene is that it has basic. Yeah, and the big thing with that, Peter, is we don't know how Eugene is going to perform. This is still kind of a question mark for a majority of players, is we don't know exactly how good or how well Eugene is going to work in AFK Arena until we get to the point of adding in the rest of his skills and abilities right here and adding in, of course, the engraving in there and also the amplification aspect of building him up with higher engraving. And then you couple that with a plus 40 or plus 50 signature item. Who knows? Who knows exactly how much power Eugene is going to hold? Even utilization on the test server was very, very sketchy, but you can see right here, guys, we're Mythic plus 2 copies. So we need one more. I actually pulled a copy out of the current event that we have going on right here. With the Magician's Hat, I did pull out of here. Now, one of the things that we kind of focus on, and I give a crazy amount of feedback back to Lilith in AFK Arena, is players are getting the Eugene chest out of here, which means in the counter side of it is we're not getting anything back as far as resources. So it's great they put an Awakened Hero in here. I don't know if they're going to continue it, but if you're looking to get baits or cores or red chests or anything out of this game mode, because Eugene is in the gift card and Eugene it was in the last event, you're literally just canceling out the ability to get anything in here, which I don't like. The events are poised to just get that copy of Eugene. And look at that. Thank you, D2. 21 months as a Hippo supporter. Yes, sir. He is almost 2 years in. I love seeing the Hippos there. Black Waffle, Yoshi, Zolthamus, all of the Hippo supporters that support the channel. Very, very cool. And of course, the everything that we get from, you know, the super chats from the memberships, we put it all back into AFK Arena. Even a lot of the YouTube revenue, we do the exact same, going right back into AFK Arena. So kind of newish here, been playing a little over here. I'm curious, why is Walker the fan favorite? Funny enough, Wayne. So if you're familiar with Walker, Texas Ranger, they thought he was going to be a Ranger. He was going to be a warrior. To be honest, nobody likes Walker. Walker is a hero. That's why he's on level 1. I've never built him. I will never build him. Walker is not a fan favorite. I was joking with you. But yeah, being new to AFK Arena, yes, do not build Walker. There is no reason. And he was the biggest wrong hero, I guess, they ever built. So that's kind of the big part is everybody thought he was going to be okay. And he is probably to date one of the absolute best, one of the absolute worst heroes that we've seen in AFK Arena. That even when you looked at the hunting fields, even when you looked at the Abyssal Expedition, as a warrior, stacking all of your relics behind him, still super ineffective. Still, absolutely. And that's it. And Walker is the fan favorite because he is the worst character in the game. Never worked anywhere. That was kind of the problem. He is so bad that he never worked anyone. How can a new player prepare for multiple teams? Multiple teams, so once upon a time, it used to be running Lucretia. Lucretia actually came up as your second team, but you'll get to the point where synergy kind of comes in, and there's a lot of heroes when you start getting to those multiple teams, like even having an Awakened hero with the SP effect, having one copy of the Awakened version of Belinda will make a big, big difference because of the power that she brings. Which is kind of crazy. So it does work, and it does work incredibly well. But if you're running Damon with Ivan, that is one comp right there. Multiple stage, you have to see who you have, who you're building. But a lot of times when you get into 2 stages, so I worked on building out Graveborn. Once I got to the point of multiple stages, or actually quite a bit before that, I started building out Wilder. Now, when you're building out your heroes, you absolutely add them. Graveborns are the priority. They are still the strongest faction we have in AFK Arena, short of the Celestials and Dimensionals, but they work in perfect harmony and synergy. And then, of course, followed by the Wilders. The Wilders work super, super well and super efficient, and a lot of them have synergy between them, which works super well. I love your videos. You're my hero in each event. Oh, thank you, Vera. Yeah, I love doing the content, guys. Again, with everything going on with the basement, I'm going to have to hop off a little bit early, but I want to do the give back. It's going to be a short stream. I'm going to try a little bit later to possibly have an ability to hop on and actually do a little bit of just kind of stream and chill a little bit later. But I want to hop in here. I want to make sure we got the membership. And I also didn't want to disappoint you guys with everything going on, that we had to cancel the stream, remove the stream, or anything like that nature. So that will pop out. The gift announcement has been sent to chat. There we go. So it is going out to one person who is in chat right now. It's very cool. And Trayvon, there we go. So what artifact are we using with Liberta? So Liberta, I'm actually using this collection right here. Skill level, double attack. So this is one that I've been using. And even at my level, I'm at the point, and again, this depends on what game mode you're in. So the thing right here, first time that you receive fatal damage. So this would be an absolute perfect one to run if you're running Liberta in the Treasure Scramble, which I highly advise. Now, of course, looking at some of our other ones, which is kind of the flip side, is you're going to build some of these as like support. So that's going to be part of it. Is Albedo worth E30? E20 will work incredibly well in Albedo. And I believe, is it Albedo? I'm trying to think. I think it might be the 30. I think the 30 might be the requirement. Increase the attack rating of all dimensionals. Yes, 30 is absolutely required. E30? No. Does Albedo need engraving? No, not at all. I wouldn't engrave Albedo. The only thing some people do engrave is the crowd control aspect that she does have. Again, damage-wise, she doesn't do much, but I believe it was the tenacity. So some people put tenacity in there. You really don't have to. Honestly, you're going to be fine if you don't engrave Albedo, but that will work. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Dark Lucifer, like I said, we have the remediation team, and they're coming back again tomorrow, so I had to take off work. We're going to have to figure out everything with there and exactly how it's going to look. But like I said, I'm going to try to hop on, probably just hop on a little bit later tonight. Try to go through some campaign progression, answer some questions. That way we can kind of set it up. Not sure exactly what time tonight, so it is probably going to be a little bit random on where we go through. But like I was saying, when it comes to the Ghoulish Gallery, is you're going to build out a multitude of collections in a lot of different game modes. So depending on the game mode you're running is dependent on the collection you're running. So even when we look, and I wish it showed all the collections on here, just in kind of a general kind of, this is what everybody has, this is what everyone is running. It only shows you collections in here that are not equipped. So again, depending on where you are, I have a lot of collections that are like attack, with some heroes, magic pierce on some heroes, but there's a few, and I'm trying to think of the formations that we were actually running last time. But there's, again, a few that I've built in full buffer, which again, that was kind of the boss in there. There's a full attack, but there's a couple of these that, one, some of the heroes need the skill level. Two, some of them really need to be built out much higher, and some are going to be defensive. Some of them are going to be very offensive. Full attack, full defense, full attack, full defense, and magical pierce. That's a pretty good build if you're looking at a very, very high supporter, especially if you're looking at the point where they're not really dealing damage, but they're more of the support or the buffer aspect. This can work incredibly well in a bunch of different game modes. Is Jerome worth E60? I didn't, Skyper. I didn't take him all the way to 60. Yeah, me too. And I'm worried that they're going to have to rip out flooring. And we have a full kitchen. We have a full bathroom. We have everything in the basement. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of crazy. Is it really bad to use the new chest for 30 to 40 because I have no intent to? So the big thing, Andrew, is it's going to be cheaper to get them from the 30 to 40. The 30 to 40 is where you want to use them. So the thing, and kind of looking at it, so if you're going to 30 to 40, because we'll use right here, we'll use the Awakened version of Belinda. So the way that I see it, and the way that I see it being very, very cheap, is if you're going from 20 to 30, use your red chest. If you're going from 30 to 40, you're going to use the epic chest. Because if you're going further than that, I know I wouldn't take, and I'm not going to take anyone to a 50. It's probably going to be a considerable amount of time before I take anyone to a 40. And overall, I would choose, honestly, probably my first one to go to a 40 would be the Awakened version of Athalia. So because I don't have her at 35 already, I haven't built her up any further, I would probably take the Awakened version of Athalia or I would take Liberta up to a 41st. Those would be my two heroes that when it is released on Tuesday, those are ones that I am going to go ahead and build up a little bit. How can I become your game friend? Every day, every time we stream, we go through our friends list. They limit it to 40 now. So we did have anyone that is offline or not effectively playing for 2 days, we do remove them from the friends list. Now there's a lot of players in here that definitely have a really strong player base. A lot of players that played AFK Arena forever. So if you're looking for friends, absolutely guys, hop over on Discord, get some friends. Make sure your friends are active. Make sure your guild is active. Those are really the by far two biggest things that you can do in AFK Arena for really building it out. It's a big disadvantage if I can't get Eugene copy from the event. It'll just take longer. That's the big thing, Dominic. It's just going to take longer to actually get those, to actually build those up a little bit further and get Eugene built. Or it's going to be very expensive if you're using your time emblems to buy them. That's the big thing. Between Ines, Merlin, Robin Hood, and Leonardo and Ezio, which one is worth building and graving to E60? Honestly, Blue, I would probably save it. Even looking here out of your list, Rem and Amelia are good. Mulan is good. I don't have anyone else built to a 60. I would probably save it to see exactly what's coming. Is Awakened Brutus worth the plus 40? We'll have to see. And again, with the emblems that are coming out, guys, wait and see. Save them for a little bit. And look at that, Mavis. We have a new subscriber. I didn't even catch it. Thank you, Mavis, for subbing to the channel. Abyssal Expedition. Before we conclude, guys, again, going to be a little bit shorter today on the stream. But overall right here, 5.5 is where we have to kind of go. And we ended at 14. That is right, Marco. We ended 14 out of God knows how many guilds in here. So we did exceptionally well. I don't know if all the attacks are in at this point, but very cool to see at number 14. Definitely wanted to join a more competitive guild that we talked about, you know, a few weeks ago before the Abyssal Expedition, so we did incredibly well. But all right, guys, I'm going to have to hop back down in the basement, start cleaning up, start doing more of the remediation, see exactly where we're at. So again, thank you guys for joining me for a little bit of the shorter stream tonight. Thank you guys for all the love and support for everything. And as always, thank you guys for watching.